With education, again, capitalising on our tropical location, I spoke with some people who were here looking at bringing groups of people to come and study in Cairns. These were agents from Spain, from Brazil, from South Korea. They're all looking at this place as where they can bring students to, where they know they're actually going to be perhaps safer than the big capital cities, and where it is such a beautiful environment that all of their families want to come and visit at the same time. So that's a great opportunity for us. And we've got to make sure that we retain our skilled people. There have to be jobs here. We don't want people doing study at JCU and then heading down south because we don't have opportunities here. So what are the businesses that we can grow? I think it was great that Anthony mentioned the aviation centre there before, that growing area. The number of apprentices, I think it was 200 who have been trained there, skilled people who are able to stay on in this region because the opportunities are there. And that's what people in the community have been telling us. They want opportunities for their children. And so it's very important. Everyone spoke to us almost about education. Going on to infrastructure, and this is we sort of do hear this over and over again. There'll be nothing here that you don't already know. And when some of you have had the opportunity to have input in the community plan, will have said the same things. But your general community out there, those diverse groups, are agreeing with you. So this is what we've been hearing, that they think that we need to have better public transport. And we also need to be taking advantage of our harbour and looking at how we can be shipping more out of here. Communication's really important. Forgetting about the politics of broadband, everyone just about says to us that they really are keen to have that the faster speeds and to be able to do different things with fast broadband. Energy, people do talk about that. Why aren't we looking at alternative energy? Why are we so reliant upon bringing all our power transmission up from down south? There's got to be ways of generating alternative energy. And then, of course, the community facilities. They're the things that keep young families here. Our sports fields, our community halls, our public spaces, the entertainment precinct. All of those are areas that where people want to have their children and their families to be able to utilise. They don't want to feel that they're missing out by living so far from the major cities in Australia. And they also want to have quite vibrant little commercial precincts as well, so that they want Port Douglas to be thriving. Port Douglas currently has 32 empty shops in McCrossan Street. And that's a demonstration of what's actually happened over the past 3 years. And so the whole commitment of council to trying to revitalise the waterfront is around bringing people back, renewing the tourism products, refreshing that destination that has been so famous. But at the same time, we've also got Gordonvale's really worried. What's going to happen if people start shopping up in the Edmonton area, and they really need to keep their businesses going down there? They want to have these commercial precincts as close as possible as they can be. So what we need to do with all of this, I've just given you a brief overview there, I think, because I know that people will have lots of questions and perhaps comments to make. But we need to look at how what we're doing with the community plan links with the regional economic plan, and that goes into much more detail. The community plan is really a higher level document. It's quite aspirational. It's not going to have the detail in it, like the fact that we need to fix up a particular street or foreshore or whatever. It won't go down to that level of detail, but that will ultimately, some of that will cascade down to the operational plans of council. So it's really that looking at all of the broader things that people want in a region, said where they want to, people could say, to live and to work and to play. So we'll be having very close connection with the regional economic plan. The Regional Development Australia Roadmap is also another really critical document, because the federal government have indicated quite clearly that the funding that will come to the regions, and we know that there's an increase in the focus on the regions, and if the minerals resources tax funding ends up coming back, we have advocated that CAIRNS, even though there's not a lot of mining happening right here, that because we are a fly-in, fly-out base that we want to grow, that we're really wanting some of that, those dollars to come into this region as well. And so we've been very clear when we've done the RDA, the roadmap, that the sorts of information that's coming out of the community plans, similarly for the Tablelands Council who's doing a community plan, and for Cook Council as well, that's captured in the RDA roadmap, as they call it, because that's going to be tied to funding. And we already have applications out there at the moment for funding, and it can be quite significant funding if we can match it 50-50. So to be able to get some of the infrastructure that we need. Just as an aside, one of the projects that we actually got from the federal government previously was the Disaster Coordination Centre at Warree, which was so well tested with Cyclone Yasi. That was an initiative out of this region, acknowledging that we live in an area that is always going to have turbulent activities. We're not going to retreat. We're not retreating from the waterfront. We're not retreating from this area, but we do have to adapt and mitigate to be able to continue to live here in a way that doesn't disrupt our lives and our businesses so much. So that's another key area that's actually been raised in the community plan consultation, when people have been saying, how are we going to ensure that we can have continuity with our health services and with our schooling and all of the other aspects of our society that need to continue after we may have had a disaster event. The other area that I think we need to link to is what the Council's doing in relation to its economic development and innovation. Council has never had in-house capacity to be able to really support businesses and to look at having an input into how the economy is diversified. Decisions made by the previous Cairns City Council and Mulgrave Shire Council had actually sort of outsourced a lot of that, most recently had been to Advance Cairns. And it just meant that sometimes when people came into the city and wanted to ask council about assistance that might be available, we didn't have any capacity to be able to respond. So we've developed this very tight, dynamic area called economic development and innovation, and are really looking at how we can take a leadership role there, working again in collaboration with Advance Cairns, with TTNQ, with the regional organisations of councils, with the Regional Development Australia, the broader region, to work together. Because if we can actually do that collaboration and partnerships, and all speaking with the one voice instead of having a go at one another, we're far more likely to be able to attract to this region the funding that we need to be able to have those plans realised, to have all those community aspirations realised, and to have our economic development and innovation plans realised as well. So it's really sort of very important that all of this ties together and that we're all heading in the one direction. One of the things I will do is encourage you, if you haven't already done so, to complete our business survey. That's been posted or sent to 21,000 businesses in this region. I mean, we really have this extraordinary number of small businesses, many of whom are struggling at the moment. And you might sort of think, I'm really not sure that I want to, be filling in another survey. But it's very important to us, because what we want to have a look at is the sorts of things that that you feel that you need, where you may be able to be supported. The council, of course, doesn't have that much direct input into what's happening with businesses, but what we do is we create the environment that can help you to attract skilled workers and can enable you to flourish. So in the case of Mark's business, and Mark, you lucked out sitting next to me there. I mean, how do we make Cairns continue to be attractive to bring people here, whether it's for events or whether it's for our new tourism products, whatever, the people who are actually going to buy things in your business, and actually ensure that you are viable and that you do flourish. So we really do want your feedback on this draft plan, and there's lots of ways that you can do it. You can actually go to cairns.qrd.gov.au and actually download it, have a look at it and have your say. You can get a hard copy if you would rather that, and that they're available at the libraries and at council. You can write to council, you can accost your local councillor as they go by in the shopping centre, ring us up, just whatever way is most convenient for you. We also have open forums as well. The next one will be on the 4th of May in the Civic Reception Room at Council. There's another one on that Saturday at the Esplanade. So if you're able to make any of those, please come along and have your say. Sue Lockwood, who's been leading this process, along with her boss, Sarah Philpott, from Council, are here today. And Sue has actually been out and about. She's been talking with community associations, residents associations, neighbourhood watch groups. She's been to the various chambers of commerce, and talking to specific groups, talking to seniors, talking to young people, talking to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, again trying to get that broader input in a way that we have never done previously, because there's never, I guess, in some ways been the need to, well, perhaps the need was there for that broader community plan, but it's never ever actually been done previously. So go online or go to one of those forums, make a submission, let us know, have your say, because we really don't want to suddenly be hearing at the end that people are saying, well, look, really, there's a huge gap in that plan that they seem to have missed out completely. What's happened with that, and how can I have my say? So if I can just reiterate, so this is a 10-year plan. Will carry on into the next council. It's something that really is driven by the community. It's not the baby of individual councillors or me as a mayor or the council staff for that matter. We think that of the 12 elements that we've pulled together, that 3 of them are directly relevant to business, but obviously all those other things are as well. We know that people want good medical facilities, so that you may want to have input into what's happening in the health area. So let us know, and if you do, the more input you have, the more likelihood we are to be able to position ourselves into being able to respond to some of those longer-term challenges that this region faces. There's been this huge turnaround in just the last 3 years. From, if we go back to sort of 2007 and 8, when all was rosy, everyone was on a roll. Businesses didn't need government; they just wanted government to get out of the way and let them do what they wanted to do. And how can we cut the red tape? To a situation where people are now sort of wanting support. So we need to deal with what's happening currently, but also at the same time positioning ourselves for a future where we look after our resources well, where we grow in a planned way, where we put sustainability at the heart of what we're doing, and where we actually take advantage of our amazing environment and our incredibly talented and creative people to be able to go forth into a future that has a lot of possibilities for everyone. So that's it. Thank you very much. Open for questions.